So good morning. So today's book review, Thor, Path of the Assassin. This is book 2 of the Scott Harvath series. I graded this book a 3.5 out of 5. This book was published in, 2003 it looks like. I'm enjoying the series. I'm enjoying the character. It's a slow kind of build. The writer's construction of these books is still a little muddied in my opinion. I think he's still a little green. Obviously there's like 24 books, so there's definitely an audience for these type of, thriller, CIA, spy, espionage type books. The conversation was one of the issues I had in the first book, and it continues to be an issue here. The overall kind of summary of the book is this is kind of a continuation from the first book after, the president had been captured, and they sprung him from this group that called themselves the Lions of Lucerne. You had a rogue member who joins an organization called the Hand of God. They start they're trying to basically, bomb these different places in the East. And they're doing so, trying to ignite a war between Israel and America. And the CIA wants help from Scott, and the president, assigns him to a special task force, and there's this animosity between them. And then there's also this woman character who's on this inaugural flight from Chicago to Cairo, and along with some other key members. I think it was a mayor of Chicago and one of the president's staff. And the next thing you know, it's hijacked and under the name of the Hand of God's group, and they're trying to take over the plane. And this woman stands up and to these guys, and this one guy that's trying to rape her, and the next thing she's getting thrown in because she's seen one of these key people that they know was a member of this other group, from book 1. And so then you have inner office politicking. It's interesting in those regards, but the conversations really are flat. I know this is more of a rambling kind of book review, but there's a lot going on here, and not everything is cohesive. I mean, honestly, it's the climax of the book is like 20 pages for the end. And honestly, it's kind of ironic in a sense. You have this organization that's, titled the Hand of God, and then you have this kind of Hand of God moment at the very climatic end of the thing. You have this climax that's been building, who's who can you trust? He's got these local contacts in the East, and then they turning on him? And then you get to that pivotal moment, and 2 or 3 pages later, it's done, and it's done based on kind of like he counts down from 10, and the bombs go off, and it's very sloppy. 3.5 is kind of being generous. I still have high hopes for this series. I think the character of Scott Harvath is interesting. I'm hoping that as I slowly make my way through these, that the writing gets crisper, more cohesive. I mean, this is like a 500 and almost a 600 page book, and there's probably about 300 pages worth of decent writing in there. And I know I'm being a little overly critical here, but it just takes small ideas and great character work and conversations. And there was a couple parts I liked. He definitely, in parts, when he has butting heads with this guy named Morrell, who's part of the CIA, as they're trying to bring him up to speed, and then they they're using Meg, who was the woman that was almost raped by the guy, but she got a good look at his face and is it the right guy kind of thing. And they're trying to, figure out what's going on with her, and they're trying to debrief her. And then the next thing you know, they're trying to get her combat ready because she needs to go in with this cross-functional team to, try to infiltrate this group. And this Morel guy who doesn't like Harbath, they have history or whatnot, and some of the banter back and forth is comical. But at one point when they're on the ranch or the CIA place where they're getting kind of debriefed and Meg's getting up to speed and just pranks and such like that. I mean, some of it was interesting and kind of funny, but some of it was just heavy-handed. And you almost kind of get it. He kind of Brad Thor, the author, kind of really muddled down the main character. Scott Harbath, kind of made him like a jokester, and it was just overdone. With that being said, I still want to continue and give the third book a shot, see how things are going with it. That's kind of what you get with these series. I really think sometimes it takes a while for the author to get into form. Another example would be the Dresden Files that I read recently. There's 17 books in there. A lot of people don't like the first 4 or 5 books in that series. I did, but I can also see why, because there's definitely a quality and a complexity and just craftsmanship to the writing of the later books versus the first several books. And I'm hoping that's the same situation here with this series. But that's it. Brad Thor, Path of the Assassin, I gave it a 3.5 out of 5 stars. Definitely not a perfect book. Kind of middle of the road. I enjoyed it, not all of it, but I enjoyed definitely sections of the book. I thought, you get that feeling like, I'm really going to start, this is really going to take a turn. It's really going to get good. And there were some, pumping the brakes moments as well. So, but anyways, that's a kind of a rambling book review for today. I hope you are having a great Friday. Take care.